Welcome to the Encouragement Engineering Podcast, where we help people to combat the negativity that inundates our daily lives with a positive perspective and positive action. Today's guest is Barbara Khozam. Barbara is a founder of Barbara Khozam Speaking and Consulting. Barbara is an award-winning international speaker and trainer specializing in customer service and the patient experience. Barbara has delivered over 1,700 presentations to 75,000 people in 12 countries. Her audience includes employers or employees of Kaiser, United Healthcare, and the FBI, to name a few. She's known for her high energy, high impact delivery, outrageous wit, and the ability to tackle real issues posed by her audience. In 2019, Barbara was chosen as the top customer service consultant of the year by the International Association of Top Professionals. And also in 2019, Barbara was awarded her certified speaking professional from the National Speakers Association. Barbara is one of only 3 women in the world to have achieved both this designation as well as a Toastmasters accredited speaker designation. So please welcome to the show, Barbara Khozam. Barbara, thank you for being here and congratulations on those awards. I know it's been a while, but wow, you're in good company with those.
Well, thank you, Bob. I'm so excited to be here today. Yay.
Yes, thank you for the time today, and thank you for letting us get to know you. So let's start off with that so the audience can get to know who you are. Tell us how you got to where you are today.
Oh, gosh. I grew up I won't go that far back. So,
Okay.
so I graduated from college with a degree in chemistry, of all things.
Cool. Okay.
I know. So I worked as a chemist for 10 years until I realized I don't like it. Quick learner that I am, I quit. But there was one part of my job I liked, and it was only 10% of my job. And that was when I had to train someone on something. And it was usually some piece of equipment.
Right.
But I knew that is what I liked. But I was at a point where, I don't know if you've ever been in this position where I was good at my job, but I didn't like it, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I kind of just got fed up one day, quit. I just quit.
Wow.
Without having any future job prospects.
Okay.
Don't do that. By the way.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. So for 8 months, I didn't know what to do, kind of floundering. I don't know. But then I joined on with a seminar company called Skill Path Seminars. And I knew the first day of that job that's what I was supposed to be doing. So I stayed with them for 10 years. Wow. There's a pattern here, Bob. Yeah.
10, okay.
I stayed with them for 10 years and then kind of just, maxed out on that opportunity, and then went out on my own. 2010 went out on my own, and here I am.
Great.
Yay.
So we're coming up on 10 years. That's not going to change for a little while, right?
Well,
yeah, sorry, the reminders there,
Well, you know what, though? COVID made me change, right? Because I was doing the in-person stuff, and now we're Zooming.
Yeah.
So I kind of did do the change, Bob.
Yeah,
so
there you go. And you've done it pretty well. So it's interesting because what you do is so critical in our society today. It's customer service as well as that patient experience, because you were part of the medical field too, and a lot of your customers are in the medical field. Tell us a little bit about that, and because I find it interesting, you're bringing manners back into business. Tell us about that.
So it's very interesting because when I was speaking and I went out on my own, I didn't know what to speak about, like my favorite topic of all time is attitude, right? Positive attitude.
Yeah.
And
you're on the right place then.
Yes. But when I first started out, no one was buying these attitude talks. Mm-hmm. So I hired a coach, a speaker coach. I'm very big into coaches. Mm-hmm. I'm an athlete. So I just need guidance, right? Yeah. And the speaker coach told me, no one buys attitude. Right. They buy customer service, leadership, and communication. Pick one. And I'm like, that's a no-brainer. Customer service is attitude. Yeah. So, and plus, I love it. Yeah. I'm obsessed. Oh my gosh. Like last night I went out to eat and the waiter.
Yes.
Eye contact, no smiling. Oh, yeah. So
you're critiquing everything, and that's where it gets a little, okay, we got to stop doing it. I know what you mean. I'll do that sometimes myself, and it's like, okay, stop. I can't do it everywhere. I can't do this all the time.
That's
and
right.
It's interesting because people need to remember, no matter what they do, their personality, their person, if you will, is their marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're helping people market with bringing that, the manners back, having that positive attitude. That's a marketing thing. People want to be part of that. They don't want to be part of somebody that's negative and doesn't have eye contact, always talking like this, No, who wants to be part of that?
That's right.
Do you see that in a lot of businesses where you can help them to, especially in a customer service environment, maybe a call center? I mean, if it's an inbound call center like Disney, people are happy to spend money and it's not a problem. But when it's a bill collector, or you're the power company, or you're the cable company, how do you help them? Because they're getting yelled at all day long,
Right. So it takes, well, first of all, let's back up to my motto, which you mentioned earlier. My motto is bringing manners back to business. Yeah. Because like you said, when leaders treat employees well, employees automatically treat customers well. So it starts at the top with the leader. But then with call center stuff, I used to work on the tech support. So I was on the phone when I was a chemist, right? Oh, and I had people yell at me like tech support.
Yeah.
Right? Things are broken. So they're mad.
Yes, exactly. They're not happy calling you.
And I'll tell you, I was awful. They'd yell at me and I'd yell back. You're not supposed to yell back. Hello. So I learned from failure, Bob.
Okay.
But it takes a certain individual, it takes certain people to work in a call center.
Right.
So hiring is crucial, right? And they've got to be able to be up, to smile when they dial, to deal with the people yelling at them without taking it personally.
Right.
So you got to hire the right person, but then you got to train them as well. It's just, it's a skill. It's
interesting because I think a lot of times that training piece is, okay, let's bring them in and they train them on the product. Okay. What's the call? How you're going to answer the call? What are you going to do? But they may not train them that well on the people aspect of, okay, you're going to have people yelling at you. Are you okay with this?
Right.
It is an emotional thing. And even in life, there's always going to be that person that's mad about everything. And you could say hi to somebody and they're going to tell you off or tell you their life story.
That's correct.
And how do you help people deal with that?
Well, so what I teach and what I've learned is that you can turn around about 95% of difficult people. Yeah. If you listen, if you use empathy, if you give some solutions, you could turn around 95% of people. But there's 5% of the people, they're going to be mad no matter what you say or do or look like.
Right.
So, like what I recommend, like if you try the things, right, you try to, I'm so sorry for that, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, get help, get someone else. Because a lot of times when you change the person, you change the dynamic. Good. And then they have to repeat, like it's just a different conversation.
Right.
So, get out of there.
Well, and that's an interesting point because even, okay, they may think, okay, you're the first level support. When you go to get somebody else, that's a higher level. That may be somebody that's more skilled that could possibly help them. I know.
Right.
Working on a technical support field, you go to the second or third level, that's somebody that should know it pretty well, and they're going to dig in a little deeper. They're not starting on the script on page 2, they're starting on 35, and that's what you want.
Right.
Yeah, I've done that myself and calling into people or technical support things. It's like, don't start me with reboot or reset your route. Yeah. I've been there 15 times. I've already, I'm looking at your DHCP settings and everything like that. So,
right.
That's an interesting piece. There's interesting overlap between the skills of customer service, if you will, and life. And what are some of those key ones that you see? I mean, you mentioned attitude. That's a big one because it all starts there. What's some others?
Well, it's really, can't we just be nice? Like it shocks me. And you and I talked about this before, when a customer is rude to a customer service rep. Yeah. Does that work? Or like you're mean to the waiter?
Right.
Really? Yeah. Someone who's in charge of your food, like
Yeah.
Blows me away.
You don't know what you're going to do.
But maybe the customer's mad. Maybe something didn't go right and they've called in before. So maybe there's justification. But my whole thing is, even if someone's yelling at me, I can still be kind.
Yeah.
Like, what do people want? They want to be valued. They want to be heard.
Right.
So if I simply just listen to what they're saying and acknowledge it, wow, that sounds, wow, it took you 35 minutes to find parking. Oh, wow, that's stressful, right? Give them a little bit of love. They know you understand. Now they listen to you. In most cases, they'll listen to you.
And that takes the edge off right there, because you've done that. You've said, okay, you're empathetic with what they've gone through, and you're giving some ear, if you will, ear time to them so they can vent, and maybe even just say, I'll look into that so I can help you. That won't happen next time. That's right.
Yeah. Let me look into that. Let me look into it right now. In fact, stay right there. I'm going to run to the back. I'm going to do it right now.
Can I get my drink order?
That's right.
Well, what are some other things that you have seen in your work? I mean, you've talked to some pretty big organizations. Tell us about some other things that may overlap, not only between the business side, because I think manners they're so critical in our society. People seem to have forgotten them. Have you seen that not only in business, but how does that relate to real life, if you will?
Yeah, well, just really what I've noticed lately is the lack of empathy. Just across the board, not just in customer service, but in personal relationships and family members. And and I read an article recently, and it said that last year, empathy has dropped in the United States, like 75% or something crazy.
Wow.
So if we could just bring it back, someone calls you and they're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I had such a stressful day. Instead of saying, suck it up, buttercup, how about if we say, oh my gosh, you know what? That must be frustrating. Tell me about that.
Right.
If we just listen to each other and we don't have to have a solution for everything.
Right.
If we just
guys, did you hear that?
Yeah. Yes, gentlemen.
As a guy, we're always trying to get to the solution.
You know what I've learned to do with men? This is what I'll say to a man. Like, I'm going to communicate something serious. I'll say to him, okay, so I'm going to tell you something. And when I'm done, you're going to say, oh, poor dear. Okay, ready? Here it comes. I just instruct, I just help them.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need that.
Yeah.
But that's a good point, because you're talking about our society seems to be a microwave society, but it's really a crock pot world. And we need to take that time and listen, take that time to get to know that person. And you bring up some good points within a business environment. It's just work. You're that person at work.
Right.
At home, you don't know who I am. You don't know what I deal with. And a lot of people keep that separate, which, that can be stressful in itself, because you don't know what the person is going through.
Right.
So how does that, how do you help get that overflow, if you will, back into the personal side of things? You
got to focus on it. I read or saw a podcast. I can't remember if I read or hear things nowadays. But it was pretty cool. It said that it was something about the first 90 seconds when your spouse or partner walks through that door will determine the rest of your evening. Wow. So if I'm at home and my spouse walks in and I'm like, hey, did you get those groceries? Did you, hey, did you remember to get the milk at the thing? If I start with that, the rest of the evening is negative. But if I greet with a positive something, welcome, or
hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Welcome to Moe's.
Yeah, if you start that first 90 seconds can determine the rest, and we can consciously choose to focus on the positive, right?
Right. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like being like a dog. The dog's always happy to see you come in the door.
I know. I need to get a dog.
Oh, they're
I have a cat. She could care less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing for me now? Yeah.
That's right.
Dogs are great. Now, with society being that way, if you will, being non-empathetic, or if you will, rude sometimes, a lot of times. What have you seen in organizations? Has that been something that's carried in a team, or that a team, if you will, carries that along and it limits their capabilities? Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Just like I said earlier, it usually starts at the top.
Yeah. Okay.
So why is the team like that? Why is there someone on the team that's negative, bringing everyone else down? Well, is the leader allowing it? Are they not confronting it? Did they hire it? Are they leading by example? So usually if the leader treats employees well and they give recognition and they communicate and, they do all the right things, the team members can weed out the negative ones. It's almost like a like the negative person doesn't want to stay with a group of positive people.
Right.
So they can get themselves out, but the leader's on top of it, communicating, right, holding them accountable, but it really starts at the top.
Yeah. It's always interesting too to me when you walk into an organization, or when you can after COVID, hopefully we can, you walk into a business and the first person you meet, you think might be a lowly person, if you will, the security guard or the person checking people in. That's your representative of the organization.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? They may be a contract person, so they're not getting the training from the organization. But why
Right.
not?
Right.
They're part of that organization. They're representing that organization right off.
That's right.
That's right. Have you seen where organizations have, if you will, have the consistent training, no matter who you are, what company you may work for, but if you're part of that building, you get the same training?
Well, of course, that's what I recommend, Bob. But does that happen? No. And I'm a big proponent of, first of all, mission statements. I know people hate mission statements and all that, but think about it. If every employee at that company buys into the mission and they see their part in it,
right?
If they see how okay, I'm the security guy, or girl, gal, person, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a security person, and one of the first impression officers,
right?
And I'm a safety. I'm in charge of safety. If they see how they fit in with the big picture, they will feel the value,
right?
And that shows. But a lot of times, employees are like, "I'm just the receptionist." I'm like,
"Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you are the first human contact outside security. I mean, you set the impression for everyone else." That's a big piece for me, is they got to see their value. When people see the value, they feel it, and then they can act on that.
And you mentioned restaurants earlier, and that's a key one too. The hostess or host person, whatever you want to call them. They're the greeter. They're, again, that first point of contact. Is this a good restaurant? I don't know. Is it a great atmosphere? You got to wait 15, 20 minutes, and they make it fun for you to wait. Yeah. I mean, imagine that. My time waiting is already over. What? Wait a second. I want to stay here and have some more fun. Imagine that.
Where was that?
Yeah, exactly. I'll open a restaurant and do that.
Okay, good.
More fun. Have a lot of fun in the lobby.
I know, right?
Well, why not? Because we know there's times where a bigger picture, we can't control what's on the other side.
Right.
And I think that's part of what people need to understand is, like you said, you are part of this bigger picture, bigger organization. If we're an organization that claims we're having fun, we're a positive attitude, let's show that. Let's have that fun. Let's laugh. Let's smile. I know it's a crazy thing. Smile. This.
Right. Smile.
Yeah. It takes less muscles to do this than it does to walk around like this,
Yeah, I know. I feel prettier.
Yeah. So what is it that when you go into an organization, what are some key things you ask? I'm always interested in that, because do you talk, to necessarily probably the mid-level managers, senior managers? Do you incorporate, C-level, possibly talk to them eventually, I'd imagine, but not the first time. But who are the key people you would talk to going into an organization so you can get a better understanding of what's going on for them?
Well, usually, like you said, it's a mid-level manager that usually finds out about me. But then once I go in, I'll talk to everybody.
Right.
So like the highest level, I will interview employees, anyone that they want to train or deal with or have an impact on, I'll interview them.
Right.
And it could be, you know, on the phone, Zoom, whatever.
Right.
But I need to get the voice. I need to hear the story of every different person. Because if I only talk to the leader, you know, they're like, oh, that receptionist, you know, that's their perception. But if I talk to everyone else, they're like, you know, look at Joe Blow. I mean, he's late every day, you know. So I like to get the whole picture, and then I can hear the lingo. I could get a true feel for that culture too.
Good. And that's, yeah, the culture is obviously a key piece, because that will help you determine what they say. Is it actually happening that way? Is it a perception?
Right.
I'll do the same type of thing and talk to different people. What's your perception about doing this? Or when you do your job, what are some things you go through? And you find their stress levels.
Yes.
Because when you're able to pinpoint that in a presentation, that makes you part of that organization. Then they're looking at you like, wow, you really know us.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
But it makes sense, because then there's that empathy that you talked about. You're connecting with them.
Right.
And when you connect with your audience, that's a great aspect for them to see that. They see that empathy. You're able to explain it multiple different ways. If, you know, a C-level you can say the same thing 3 different ways, if you will.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
My degree is in business and accounting, and I've worked in IT for years. So people will look at me like, what? It's like, but it's a good aspect, because I can talk to the CEO and have them understand why we need to spend these $500,000, $1 million projects, and give them the ROI they're looking for, the terms they understand.
That's
as
right.
well as talk to the technical people in their jargon and understand why we need to get this in a certain time period, et cetera. So it's that piecing it together so that multiple people understand.
Right. Absolutely.
What are some, with this type of environment we're in now, I mean, there's a lot of pressure. There's maybe pressure for working harder remotely. Are you seeing more of that?
Working remotely?
Well, the pressure, you know, people under pressure working remotely, and do you deal with that?
Well, what I have found, most of the people that are working remotely, I'd say 80% of them love it.
Yeah.
They love it. Now, the people that don't love it are the ones that have their entire family at home. You know, you got the spouse, and then you got 15 kids, you know, and like, they're like, can I please?
Yeah, please let me go.
Go to the office. So the best, the most successful companies are the ones that have like the hybrid, where the ones that thrive at the office go to the office safely, of course. The ones that thrive at home, they say, but there's flexibility. You know, there's got to be a lot more flexibility, obviously. But there's still, leadership needs to be involved.
Right.
You know, a lot of times when it's remote, they're like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. No, you still need the meetings, you know, and the huddles, and the people need to know what's going on, or they're going to disconnect.
Well, and I think the technology has definitely boomed for Zoom, you know, Teams, Microsoft Teams, et cetera, all these different types of applications. They can bring things together, because I've been in meetings where, the manager will want to see your face. Okay,
that's
so
right.
You hop on, you make sure the recording's on your home machine, your Teams is on, you got your video, hey, I'm here. So it's like you said, it's that hybrid. It's understanding, okay, you may have things come up. I mean, I've been on calls where I hear somebody's daughter wants to play with daddy. It's like, no, I get it. That's great. I think that's great. You know? Yeah. So, or you're on a conference call and the guy goes to talk and the dog's barking, you know. Wow, your voice changed, Charlie, but
that's right.
It's a lot of, I think the technology allows for some of that pressure to come off. Like you said, there's that case where if you got 10 kids at home, and with the way the kids are doing online schooling, that's a hard deal.
Yes, it's hard, stressful, it's everything. Ugh.
And not for the kids, for the parents.
That's right. That's right.
You got to figure out technology along with the kid, and then doing the new math. So that's a whole nother game. Yeah, don't get into that.
Don't even get started.
Yeah, my wife was helping my niece's daughter for a couple months. She was here, and she'd be online at school and stuff. And once they got into a routine, it was kind of okay. But even that, they were online in classes till like 6 o'clock at night sometimes.
Oh,
This is an 8-year-old child in 3rd grade. I'm like,
no,
what?
no.
Yeah, I get the concepts, and they want
Yeah.
to, you got to do the technology, and that takes a little longer. But 6 o'clock, no,
I
you got
know,
to draw the
that's too
line.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some other things that you've been seeing in regard to the more manners back into business? Okay. Yeah.
Well, you know what I think is missing in a lot of organizations, and I kind of touched upon this, is recognition.
Yeah.
I don't think, especially now with the remote workers, we're not recognizing as we used to. Like you used to be able to walk by them. Hey, good job, Sally. Thanks for turning the report in early. Like that was
Right.
easy. If you could kind of see them and the little touches. But I don't think people are getting recognized, that we're not acknowledging the good stuff.
Right.
We always recognize the bad stuff, but I don't think, and I think I've been thinking this for years, we don't recognize enough, period.
Right.
And now it's even worse now that we can't see them. So I think if we could up that, get people excited again, that they're doing the right thing, I think we can have a change for the positive.
And that's a good point. Like you said, because everybody's remote, you're not getting that, hey, Charlie, good job. You're not getting hey, let's go have a cup of coffee. You did this really well.
Right.
That virtual cup of coffee just does not taste the same.
I know.
But it's part of that too. I think there's even some programs I've seen that come out for that. There's one called Kudos, where you can do that online and just basically a virtual or a electronic thank you, like a thank you note. And it goes to your group or it can go to your team, your group, your manager, things like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think there's some ways to do that, but again, it's not the same as if somebody came by and said, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing.
Right.
I've been part of a engagement committee, if you will, for our organization, and we did different things throughout the year. We did a baseball fan appreciation day where you show your gear. We did a chopped session, so we had three or four
fun.
people. Yeah, and they were chopped chefs. We sent certain ingredients to their house, and they had to film that, and then what they prepared, and then they had the final dish, and then we rated it. So yeah, we did different things like that. It was mainly all virtual. Yeah, so you could show your man cave or whatever, your Christmas, your holiday decorations, your ugly sweater, that type of thing. So it was fun, but it was online. And it was that little break that somebody needs to just say, hey, we are here. We understand you're working a lot. It doesn't seem to stop, but we still can take a minute and just have some fun. We're people. Right.
Yeah. Cool. I love it.
Yeah. It's that reminder that we're people first.
Yes.
Not just a job title.
That's right. That's right.
So where's some information, some places people can find more about you and what you do and how they can get a hold of you?
That's easy.
Okay.
Go to my website.
And a little more.
So my website is my name, BarbaraKhozam.com. My last name is spelled Khozam. I'm sure Bob will put that somewhere.
I will put that in the show notes.
And of course, Facebook and LinkedIn, they could reach out, and I'm on those places too.
Okay. Yay. Great. And I'm sure you probably have some YouTube videos as well.
Oh, I have lots of YouTube videos. Yes. Thank you, Bob. Yes.
Because as a speaker, we got to have those out there, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
I have a thing called the 21-day Happy Pants Challenge.
Ooh.
Okay. Because, they call me Miss Happy Pants because I tend to be happy, and when you're happy, people go, who are you, Miss Happy Pants? Yes, I am.
There you go.
I have
as a matter of fact.
So if they want, they can just simply email me. And then for 21 days, you'll get 21 emails telling you to do something like write a thank you note, call a friend. Because after 21 days,
starts to form a habit.
You'll start to form a habit. And if they send me an email when they're done, I'll send them a prize.
Ooh.
I don't know what that is, but I'll send it.
We like prizes.
That's right.
Free stuff, man.
That's right.
Go to an industry conference and all the tchotchkes,
Oh, right. Yes, that's what it'll be.
Yeah. Well, great. That's great information. I certainly look forward to checking more of that out and having our listeners find out more about that as well. I'll have all those links in the show notes as well. But Barbara, I wanted to thank you so much today for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thanks for your insight and being a guest on the Encouragement Engineering podcast. So I certainly
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Bob. Thanks for all that you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And you have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.